About tonight because I heard Kampala is
it's here.
killing Nairobi.
It's here. Actually, people come from Nairobi to come to party in Kampala.
Stop. I'm not ready, but I am.
Yeah.
I took my nap.
And it's funny because some of my Kenyan friends and even local Ugandan friends, man, they could party all night. I can't do that. My guys start closing around like 1 o'clock. And actually,
you're dad mode, family
dad mode too,
mode,
but also
work man mode.
I work a lot. And all my clients are in the West, so I work at night. But I'm just not, but the vibe, like if you love me, I love music. I love music.
I'm a piano,
yeah. But I also like local Ugandan artists too, like Baby Cool and Navio and Jose Chameleon. Yeah, it's big in Kenya. I don't know if you heard of him before yet. Yeah, Jose is huge. So there's all the local Sheba. I could go on and on. When I came to Uganda, I was hanging out with all the local artists because I love the music so much. So I'm really into music that way.
They call you Mzungu?
They do. I get offended.
They call me Mzungu.
No way.
I swear to God. And they're like, it's not just skin. It's mind.
It's mind.
Yeah, and I'm like,
At first it used to be, for me, it was like, why? I feel like the racism is high. But it's actually not a skin color. It's a mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah, they break it down to a mindset. An accent, like they see their accent and all of a sudden they're,
Mazunga.
No. Well, it was going to be a new experience.
You're like, the village?
Yeah.
You don't want to stay at the Sheraton?
No, I was open. I'm a very adventurous guy. I was open for anything. So I was like, let's go to the village. Now, mind you, her family knew all about me. It wasn't like this was just some random guy.
Yeah, it's a lifelong.
It was a lifelong journey. They knew the letters. They knew, there was a lot going on there. So we went to the village. I met her family, tasting the food, the culture, went around Kampala. I didn't go anywhere else, literally just Kampala and the village. That was it. I didn't go to any of the other tourist sites. I didn't do any safaris. I didn't want to. I have this belief that if animals don't pay to come see me, why would I pay to go see them? That's just a belief I have. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's kind of awkward.
I'm not,
if a lion was just like in our house, he'd be like, excuse me, I'm trying to do something here. Stalker.
Yeah, stalker.
Yeah, that is awkward. That's very awkward.
I don't know. I've seen enough of them, I guess, in my life, so it's like, whatever.
Yeah.
But,
what's up, you guys? This is me, and I am live from Uganda. I actually got here today, and I'm already hanging out with a friend. And I'm super excited to be here. The vibe here is definitely different than Kenya. I've been needing some new energy, and I'm liking your frequency.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah, I am liking his frequency. So let's just dive right into this. Who are you?
Who am I? All right. Well, first of all, thanks for having me on your channel and your show. I really appreciate it. My name is Nathan. I'm a Portuguese, 100% Portuguese guy whose family immigrated to the United States many years ago. Grew up in the U.S. in Massachusetts.
Boston?
South Boston, yeah.
Okay.
Definitely South Boston. Closer to Rhode Island, by the way.
Privileged, middle class?
No.
Struggle.
Maybe. Secondhand clothes. We keep it real.
Goodwill before it was cool.
Exactly. Goodwill before it was cool. That was
for
Salvation Army. You guys know from Rhode Island.
Yeah.
Salvation Army, Goodwill. Yeah, that's where I grew up. So, but yeah, they worked really hard. Immigrant mentality, just really work all the time. So good work ethic from the family. And gosh, from there, just family was in the bakery business and doing bakery, and that just comes out of the Portuguese background for breads and pastries and stuff like that. So then went to school there, went back and forth to Portugal numerous times over the years, pretty much almost yearly, and but at that point in my life, at a young age, I got turned on to Uganda at the age of 14. I got really interested in culture.
And this is why you were in the U.S.?
While I was in the U.S., correct.
What? Because they don't really teach a lot of African history in the United States.
True.
The
only African history I got was Abraham Lincoln. That's freeing the slaves.
Yeah, that's African American. I got you need to be grateful. you have textbooks because there's children in Africa
Yeah.
who don't have shit.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that type.
It's always that line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I changed that today actually. When
Yeah.
I mentioned that, like, if you're trying to compare poverty, I always just say, there's children in India who don't have.
No, seriously.
That's seriously what
There's
I said.
children in Boston,
In Boston.
who don't have. No, seriously.
No, that's so true though.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
actually very true.
It's sad.
It's sad.
Yeah, even my dad, like, there's kids who have to walk a mile to the
Yeah.
river. And I'm like, kids in Flint have to
That's so
walk
true.
2 seconds to.
It is true, and I just think that's. I think before there was social media, it was overshadowed.
Yeah.
Like people wouldn't even know. But when you actually walk the streets of whether it's LA, Boston, Atlanta, wherever it is, you're gonna see
Homelessness.
You're gonna see homelessness. Some sites that pretty much shock like other people around the
Yeah.
world. They're like, oh, you have that in the U.S. You
People
have.
do not believe in American homelessness.
Yeah, true. It's true. It's definitely an overshadowed thing for sure.
Yeah.
Social
So
media's really
what sparked this like interest in Uganda while you were still in Boston?
Yeah. I was a young boy actually. This group of kids called it was a group called the African Children's Choir. They travel all over the world. They've been on Oprah. Big fan of Oprah.
That's debatable. We'll chat later.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get it. So they travel all over the world. They've been on television, and so I went to a local show that they were doing, and they were all from Uganda. And my dad, kind of forced me. I was a paper boy at the time. I was delivering newspapers, and he said, "You're going to give me $40 every month out of your paper route, and we're going to sponsor a child's education." So
Let's give a round of applause for that. That's very admirable.
yeah, and my dad's always taught me that, like the power of like the law of reciprocity, give and you shall receive. He's always been into that, even to this day. So it was then that all the children on the pictures on the table all needed school fees to go to school. So that's where I got interested in Uganda. I started studying it. I started like in my own school, or my own school time, I would like draw out maps of Uganda.
Yeah.
So that's where the love for Uganda came from. Like
Wow.
that's where I was introduced to it, and the love for being in the country really.
Wow.
Yeah, it started back then.
So fast forward, you turn 18. What do you do?
Well, when I was 18, I was in the process of getting like married to my first wife, girlfriend, or so I was like in a relationship. But when I was 18, I basically was building my roots in the U.S. at that time. I did move to California for a little bit, and then I settled in North Carolina for a good 4 years.
Wow.
And
Because hold on, you're going to some different places here.
Yeah.
Boston is a different vibe than Cali.
Very different.
And Cali is a different vibe than North Carolina.
Yeah.
So
gotcha.
where in Cali did you go?
So I lived in Calabasas actually. I lived.
Money.
I lived down the street. My same.
Okay, Mr. Kardashian.
No, but to be real, like my dry cleaner was the same dry cleaner as Will Smith. Like, no joke. They had this lady, she was so nice. They had this picture frame of him on the wall, and I'm like, what's with Will Smith on the wall? And she's like, oh, he a customer,
He's just my favorite customer.
Yeah.
Just the biggest tipper here.
Yeah.
No big deal.
It was so great.
Wow.
But, it was so great. I mean, the vibe it was right in Calabasas. The vibe there was, it really opened up my mind. Like I didn't realize people thought this way. I didn't think people would think so positively or openly and say, they would take an idea and say, you know what?
Scoot into me.
You know what? You could take this idea and hey, that could be possible. I was like, whoa.
Innovative, open-minded.
Yeah, exactly.
Boston is more of a traditional town.
Very. And where I came from wasn't even Boston, it was like South Boston. So the people there are very negative. For example, the city slogan is called "We'll Try." Like, really? We'll try?
I think that movie with Ben Affleck, The Town.
Yeah.
Was for South Boston, right?
Yeah, yes, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah.
You guys watch The Town on Netflix.
It is a good movie, though. But yeah, I lived out in LA for, in that area for about a year. I would commute to LA, and that was the worst. That's why I left.
Literally, LA will take half of your life to drive it.
Yeah, it was about 3 hours every day. Every day, 3 hours, and it was just horrendous.
And what were you doing out there professionally?
Yeah, so I started my own company in 2009. I'm a consultant. I do properties, and I also consult in properties. So I actually help people buy real estate from anywhere. So I'm actually like two parts in the same industry, but in two different niches in the industry. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So, did your wife come with you?
No. So actually, so to rewind a little bit back. So going back to that, the pictures on the table, when my dad's like, all right, pick a child. So I was like, honestly, there was a bunch of guys and girls on the table, little kids. And so I said, I probably picked the cutest girl on the table.
Yeah.
So I was like, that one. So we became pen pals. You actually become pen pals with the kids that you, well, if you want to. Most people don't write.
This is a good program.
Yeah, so we were writing letters back and forth for many years. And actually, so when she turned 18, I got letters back in the mail, and they said, I got the letters back, and I call up the organization, which is out of Canada, and they said, oh, your sponsor child, she graduated school, she's all done, there's no more sponsorship. I said, well, I have some letters, can I get a new address or a phone number? Like, oh no, privacy reasons, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, oh. So lost communication completely, which is really unfortunate, and I didn't understand why until I actually came here. So 5 years go by. Thank God for Mark Zuckerberg. Creating Facebook, because honestly, if it wasn't for Facebook, she actually, my sponsor child, was on Facebook looking for me all these years, all those years, to find me. She typed a bunch of Nathans in Brazil, and when she actually landed on my profile, she was using her real Ugandan name. I get this message that says, "Are you the Nathan that sponsored a child in Uganda?" And I was like, yeah, that's me. Do you know where she is? Right? And I was all excited, and she says, Nathan, it's me. And I was like, holy smokes. Like, this is insane.
Was she sexy?
Yeah.
Was the profile pic hitting?
Yeah, that's it.
Were you like, oh?
No, well, I'll tell you what, I mean, from that.
Blocked? Just kidding. Just kidding.
Well, I'll tell you what. After actually my first marriage, I like to say after that, I actually only dated African American girls. And my first serious relationship, wife, she was Portuguese.
Okay.
And
well, once you go black, you never go back. Yeah. We all know that. That's a classic.
It's a true statement. So, where were we? I just told you.
Well, you were talking about, I asked you if your wife went with you to California.
Correct, right. No, so I moved from LA to North Carolina. I moved there, I had another contract with a client.
What part of North Carolina?
It's actually south, so it's actually South Charlotte, right on this lake called Lake Wiley.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm from Columbia, South Carolina.
So you know Lake Wiley.
So I take 20. I take 20 up and down.
Yeah.
If I'm not feeling 95 to get to busy.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm hip.
So you know what? Yeah. So I lived right there for about 4 years, and then it was in 2012 that she wrote me that message. And I was dating a girl at the time. You know, I was in a kind of basic, not so serious relationship. Get this message, and I'm like, oh, reconnect. So we reconnected in 2012. But then in 2013, I took my girlfriend at the time to Jamaica to go kind of propose in a way. Like, hey, do you want to get married? Do you want to have kids? That kind of thing. But she said no.
It's a blessing. It's a blessing.
It was actually the best thing. It was because after that moment, I said, okay, she was going to go back to school and finish her law degree. I said, all right, you know what? I'm going to travel for a bit. I love travel. I'm addicted to traveling. I said, you know what? I'm going to go visit my friend in Uganda, because I've never been to Africa. I want to go. This gives me a reason to go. So literally, I fly to Uganda, land at the airport. My sponsor child, now she's a lot older, of course. Yeah. She's there with her friend, but let me tell you, the moment.
What is the age difference between you guys?
I think 2 to 3 years. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, she's not really your sponsor child.
Let's
say my sponsor friend.
Sponsor friend. And that's what. Yeah. So my sponsor friend shows up at the airport, and I don't know, maybe it's a guy thing. I've asked a lot of guys about this, but when I hugged her at the airport, I just instantly knew, like, this is the one. Like, this is the one. So,
wait, let me guess your sign.
God.
Pisces.
No.
Damn.
No.
Y'all, I've been so off lately. Forgive me.
So it's all good.
My energy is bad lately,
it's all good.
so it's hard for me to read energy.
Yeah, your energy has been bad. I don't know if you're gonna share that story with your. Are you gonna share that at some point?
I told them that it's over, and I didn't tell them why. So they're like, I've actually had some of them sending me money.
Really? Well, thank you.
I swear, I've gotten like at least 5 donations from some of my YouTube, and they're like, "Yo, girl, stay strong, stay out there." Because I love them.
She has a battle. Britt's got a battle. So
Yeah,
please support her.
Seriously.
Subscribe, follow, like stay tuned because
For real.
She's
it's dark.
And it's dark, but you know what? At the end of the day, I think you're a believer in this. Like, there's light at the end of the tunnel. You're gonna win. Like,
yeah.
you're gonna make some good
There
stuff.
I'm not leaving. I will appeal 5 times. Are you a land, earth, or water? Do you know?
I don't know. But
I'm gonna take 2 more guesses.
Okay. I don't know.
Cancer.
No.
Oh, you're giving me water.
Okay, I need to know what the water, wind, or fire you're talking about. I mean, I've heard these things before, but I'm not like, if I tell you the month, or can I tell you the sign? Can I just tell you and then you tell me if I'm land, water?
Give me a block of 3 months. Like, say my birthday's from January.
August, September, October.
You're a Libra.
No.
Damn, you're Virgo.
Yeah, we're Virgo.
Virgo. Okay. But I was close with the Pisces.
You
I was
probably
close
are.
with the Pisces. They're all groups.
They're all groups.
Like Pisces, Cancer, Virgo are grouped. So you were giving me that vibe.
It's close.
I just interviewed a Virgo. But anyways, back to the point. I can feel a sensitive. I can feel a intuitiveness in you.
Yeah.
I feel like you're an energy reader.
Totally. That you're so right with that because
Yeah.
I tend to read more people's like feelings, emotions. I can feel the room pretty quick. I'm that type of guy. I'm more of a creative than I am like a data or left brain. I'm more of a right brain.
Yeah,
for sure.
I can feel that from you.
Cool. Yeah,
So you get here and you feel her energy.
I don't even, man. I mean, I don't even know. It was just like it wasn't audible, but it was like, this is your wife, like boom, like just that sensation. And I've asked other guys that, like I asked my boy Dave. He's from the UK, and I said, hey man, when you got married, like, how did you like know she was the one? He's like, man, you just know. You have this feel.
You know.
Yeah, it was like that, and that's what it was for me. And so if my ex, didn't say no to me in Jamaica, I would probably never come to Uganda.
Thank you, ex, for doing the right thing and saying no.
Congratulations on your degree, by the way.
Thank you. So you get here, your wife.
Yeah. So I'm here for 2 weeks though.
Okay.
I'm only here for 2 weeks. I came here, sponsor friend, and within 2 weeks, I mean, she showed me, I'm introducing to her friends, her family, went out to the village, got to meet her family. Mind you.
Okay, so let's slow down.
Okay,
so get here.
I'm here.
Did you book like an Airbnb or like a
No,
hotel?
I don't even think Airbnb was open at the time. I don't even know if they, or at least maybe they were, but it wasn't popular to me. I wasn't even knowing. So I went straight to the Marriott Hotel Sheraton downtown.
For 2 weeks.
No, for 2 days.
Okay.
2 days. I was there just for 2 days because I flew in at night and I was like, okay, let me just go to a hotel I know that I usually book through. So I did that for 2 nights and then we went to the village. We went to where
she took you to her village.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And then y'all stayed together.
Yeah. So literally 2 weeks. Now where it all ended was, or how it, I don't even say ended is more like where it started, but in the last few days that I was here, I was thinking, okay, I have my ex back at home, in the US, and I really don't want to leave Uganda without making some form of commitment in my life because I have this intuition. I gotta take action. I gotta do something. Otherwise, I would leave Uganda and I would never come back. That's just how I am. I would just never go. So the day before I left, I went around the city. She was going to the salon, doing her hair and stuff like that. I said, okay, you do that for 2 hours. I'll go get my itinerary. I actually went around shopping for an engagement ring and bought a ring. And
dang, she must have really put it on you. that stew and all that must have been real good.
No, just to be non-PG, but no, we were intimate at all during that time.
Oh, so she held out. She's smart.
We keep it real.
It's the opposite.
We keep it real.
Take notes, ladies.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, no, we just.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, it was just totally like.
The love.
Yeah, it was just like this. It was just something I think I knew, and then she was surprised. But anyway, so I went and bought a ring, took it to these gardens at that hotel, and I said, you know what? I don't want to leave Uganda and come back in like 10, 20 years, and you have kids and I have kids, and it takes like 10, 20 years from now. I said, you know what? I wanna come back sooner than that.
You're a romantic guy.
Virgo.
Yeah, you're a lover boy. I love it though. You have to be true to your feelings.
Yeah. And so I just, got down on one knee and asked her to marry me. She was surprised. She was surprised.
I bet she was so happy.
We
That's
both
like
were.
best case scenario.
We both were. I think we were both like surprised and you know, we both had a reality. She actually was dating someone. I was dating someone, but I think we both knew like, okay, let's do this.
Love prevails.
Yeah. So the next day I left. I went back to Massachusetts.
That was hard for her, huh?
Yeah, it was like, it was. I remember the ride back to the airport was really unique. It was like, wow, like I'm going all these, you know, distance. And I was like, whoa.
This uncertainty.
Yeah, I flew back. Okay.
How long did it take for you to come back?
Well, to come back to Uganda? Mm-hmm. So I flew back the next day. My parents picked me up at the airport in Boston and they could tell like something was different. I mean, they're my parents, they're gonna know. So they like, did something happen? And I'm like, no, but I'll tell you all the details when we get home. I'll never forget it. We're sitting on a couch. I got my mom on my left, my dad on my right. And I'm just scrolling through all the photos and I showed the engagement photos and they both start crying.
Like happy tears?
Happy tears. They're just like, they're just so excited. They're like squeezing me. And my mom's like, oh, so what's next? Like, when's
That is beautiful.
Yeah,
I thought you were gonna say that they were upset.
No. Well, no, we're a very open family.
Do you have any like racists in your extended family? Or anyone who would have been like, oh,
no, not at all. I mean, I will say this. I remember my grandmother as a young kid. My grandmother lived in the projects. And my grandmother always said, shut the gate so people from over there don't come in. But it wasn't like, oh, don't let that specific person come in.
It was just anyone who's not us.
Anyone who's not, yeah, because she was always mindful about her front gate. And maybe because she was an older woman, but sometimes people would come in and they'd pick grapes from her garden, which is in the front lawn, or pears. She's like, oh, make sure the gate's closed. She's like, don't let anybody come in from the gate. So that was always, shut the gate was always a thing, but never, you know, and maybe there was people from across the street who were coming in grabbing stuff, but it was never like, oh, that.
Prejudice.
No. And I got pictures and videos to prove it when actually we all reunited and, you know, when I actually brought my wife to the US, everything was like open arms. It was nothing like that. Yeah.
So your parents start bawling. And they're like, oh my God, I'm so happy for you.
My mom was like, okay, so when's the wedding? And I'm like, okay guys, listen, I don't know if you can make it. I hope you could, but if it's not possible, then okay. But it's gonna be in about 60 days. They're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, in about 60 days.
This is like 60 Day Fiance.
That show came out afterwards though. That show came out after.
You guys missed your big break.
Yeah, true. Yeah, because I heard about that show. I was like, hey, well, that's what I did. But so I went back down to Charlotte. I sold everything I had and I moved to Uganda. Like just 2013, I completely moved to Uganda. And 30 days after that, we did traditional wedding. So it's called Kuchala, which is like a mini introduction to the family and the aunt, getting the aunt's approval. And then we did what's called a Kwanjula, which is the introduction where the woman introduces the man to the family. So it's under the kingdom of Buganda. It's about Buganda kingdom style. Yeah. So we did that within 90 days, all within 60, 90 days. Yeah. So
you got your Ugandan marriage popping.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You came here after 60 days for your wedding.
Yeah.
But what was that like? Okay, it's time for me to go back now again.
Back where? What do you mean?
Where you came permanently?
I came. Yeah, I relocated.
Oh, you're done.
Yeah, it was 8 years ago.
And you have not gone back?
Well, I have. So I do travel a lot, and I'm a Portuguese citizen. I have a residence in the U.S. and Portugal.
You're dual?
Yeah, I'm a dual citizen. Yeah.
Must be nice.
Yeah. So, So I do visit the U.S. probably 3 to 4 times a year for work purposes.
Okay.
So I do have, like I was mentioning earlier, my clients. We meet in Florida, and we just have this mastermind where we talk about real estate deals and whatnot. But it's not like I've abandoned like the U.S. I'm not one of those people who's like anti-American in any way. No, because it gave my parents and my grandparents the freedom and the life. Yeah, there's nothing like that. So, but I just, with this remote lifestyle that everyone knows today because of COVID, like remote's like so popular now. I was living that like 10, 12 years ago. So I was already remote and I was already living just on my laptop and stuff. So
you're not new to this, you're true to this.
Yeah, exactly. I like that one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you get here.
Yeah.
What were some adjustments?
Good question.
That you had to make?
That's a very good
question.
Because
vacationing and living are not
very different. And most people, when they come here, they'll stay like in a really nice place like this.
Yeah.
No, so immediately I actually moved in with her, and she was living about 30 minutes outside of the city in a one-room. The bathroom was outside in a pit latrine, or most people would know that as like an outhouse, right? So yeah, and we did that for a year. I did it for a year because I have a belief, like, okay, I know there's people in life that like, oh, I can't do that. I need to be comfortable. I don't believe in that. I believe in like blending. So yeah. I adjusted my lifestyle, my European American lifestyle to her Ugandan lifestyle.
And
so I wasn't, I wasn't like, oh, I can't.
Comfortable has to be fluid. Yeah,
exactly. So I just blended right in, and I think that kind of shocked a lot of people locally. Like, oh my God, you live. Yeah.
So you were kind of holding y'all down with your online job.
Correct. Yeah.
You guys lived in that one bedroom.
Yeah.
You're trying to acclimate to the lifestyle.
Got pregnant.
Oh.
Yeah, like within months we're pregnant for our first kid. Yeah.
A boy.
A girl.
A girl. What's her name?
Her name is Brooklyn. Yeah, Brooklyn. And most people think like, oh, why? Were you born in Brooklyn? No, I just, my two daughters have water names, everything related to water. I believe like
Brooklyn Bridge.
Yeah, Brooklyn Bridge, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think like, water is the only like liquid substance that God created. And I just think it's so unique. We use it for so many things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway.
It can't be replaced.
Right, yeah.
Destroyed.
Yeah, I can't recreate it. It's like, it's very unique. So anyway.
Wow,
so
I like that.
We're pregnant for her first daughter, and so we had a whole pregnancy here, and that was very unique. Yeah.
How do you compare your treatment as a white man here to like in the States?
Oh, well, I guess it would depend where you are in the States for sure.
Well, your life.
My life, okay.
Because there's less of a situational awareness of your whiteness, I would say, in the States.
Yeah.
Here you are white as hell.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think I've toured around a lot, and I've been in many different countries. I think here what tends to happen is because of tourists. I think, if you're a tourist, like even in Portugal, if you're a tourist, people are going to treat you differently. They do. They just, oh, you're from wherever, and you're from Canada, you're from the UK, okay, and you get this little bit extra treatment. That most of the time is here also. If they can detect you're a tourist, they're going to treat you with that little extra special care. However, if you start speaking in the local language like Luganda, or you start and they catch on like, oh, okay, you're a real Luganda, yeah, you've been here.
Back to the line.
Back of the line. You're right back out.
See ya.
Yeah, exactly. So the tourism aspect does play a part. I would say a little bit more here because I think Ugandans are super friendly. I think they are just super friendly compared to, I've been to Nairobi. I've only been to Nairobi and Uganda in Africa so far, but I just felt from my experience, they're very, very friendly.
People say Kenyans are really, really friendly.
I think they're very aggressive in my opinion. I think they're more like aggressive people. I've met some, I have some friends that are Kenyan and they're very friendly, but I found that they're just more like they just got this way about them. Not that it's
I live in an expat bubble. I live in one of the nicest parts.
Okay.
So my experience when I first got here was different than normal people.
Okay.
Because it's I live in an area where they're more like, oh, we know you have money, so let me kind of cater to you and over politeness.
Yeah.
So I didn't really I'm just now getting to see the real Nairobi.
Sure.
Because of the change in people that I'm hanging out with.
That makes sense.
So now I do agree. There's
okay.
You better not mess with me. I'm Kenyan.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Versus before it was oh, polite.
Yeah.
And now they're girl, please.
I could totally understand that because initially when I first came to Uganda, even though I wasn't living in the expat community and I haven't associated myself with the expat, actually I don't know any expats here other than you. I just
got here today.
Yeah, I know. I literally, if I see someone or just randomly meet someone, I am not in the expat. I am literally, all my friends are Ugandans and Kenyans. That's it. I don't hang out with anyone from
you're
the UK.
streets.
Yeah, I don't hang out with anyone from the UK,
Certified.
US. Yeah, I just don't. I really like the Ugandan culture. I love the Ugandan people.
You don't miss like that familiarity or like the contextualization that many people might miss?
No, not at all. I don't miss it. Actually, when I'm away from Uganda, I miss the Ugandan culture so much. So I don't miss it at all. I'm like, yeah.
You speak the language very well.
I try. I mean, I try.
Okay.
I've been taking some lessons over the years. I've been here 8 years. I should know more. But I haven't really taken the time to know some detailed words. But I can have a basic conversation with someone in the street, or just getting a boda boda, or getting food and stuff like that. Yeah. Easily, yeah.
Are you working on Ugandan citizenship?
Not at this time. Not at this time. There is some little things because I'm a dual citizen already. No, currently on a visa, and it's like a long-term visa. And I don't work or earn money in Uganda. I don't do that as well. So that might be questions people think of, oh, if I go there, can I work and earn money? Yeah, you can. But I don't earn while I'm here because I'm a remote worker. I work online.
Is the job market here even like that? So say there's expats who are oh, I'm thinking about moving to Uganda. Nairobi is like a hustler's paradise. If you have capital, you can make something happen.
True.
Is that like here in Kampala?
I would say, that's a great question, by the way. I feel because I lived in Nairobi for 3 months during getting some paperwork done. I lived with a Ugandan in Kenya. And it was very, very unique. I was helping him push his shea butter, and they had shea butter from Uganda he was selling in Nairobi. And so I got to experience a lot while I was there during that time. However, here there's very unique opportunities, I would say, for expats to get involved in if they're going to start a business. For example, I wouldn't say just go open up a shop. I would say either hospitality, restaurants, some kind of accommodations, or definitely farming. Uganda is a huge producer of food. There's so much food here. It's insane.
Everyone in my comments keeps telling me to become a dairy farmer.
It's everywhere.
And that's so random.
Yeah, it is random. Yeah, and if you're not into agriculture, then you wouldn't do it. But anyone who's thinking about relocating, places like Upwork.com or any type of freelancer site, freelancer.com, if you're doing some remote work, it's easy to be involved.
Do you mind if I vape?
No, it's fine.
Okay, it smells good. It
smells like vanilla.
It's actually strawberry ice.
Strawberry ice.
It helped me with my anxiety. I have intense anxiety.
Oh, jeez.
Lately.
Did you do any meditation or anything?
I do wake up sometimes. I'm not consistent with it. But I'm trying to stay off of pharmaceutical meds.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
This is kind of also that as well, so it's a catch-22.
It's well, one thing I got addicted to recently, and this is so new, there's meditation on Apple Fitness. I'm doing that, I know. It's because I tend to get into these little addictions, at different times, so I really like that. Apple Fitness has really been
I have a Well app.
No, yeah, the Well app.
Yeah, and I do the good in the morning. Yeah. It's pretty good. But it's hard to keep that energy throughout the day sometimes.
That's true, because you got, life.
Yeah, life external factors.
Yeah. True.
So you are in Uganda, you're making money, you're having babies. When did your second baby come?
Yeah, second baby. Her name is Delta.
Okay.
Yeah, and not because of Delta Airlines. Most people in the West think that. Actually, and it's funny. Everybody in the West, in the United States, think, oh, Delta Airlines? I'm like, no, Delta Coffee. They're like, Delta Coffee? Everybody in Europe thinks it's Delta Coffee because Delta Coffee is huge in Europe. So I'm like, no, it has to do with water.
Yeah. Imbeciles.
Yeah. So, so Delta is my second child. And then and she's, I think she's 5 or 6. She's about to be 6, I think. And I should know these things.
Men or so. I was just like, men. Oh, God. It's not personal. My dad doesn't even know my birthday sometimes.
Turning 6.
My dad has a list of all of our birthdays on his dresser. And I'm like, hey, Dadass, this is crazy. It's been 30 years.
Yeah.
You don't sense a pattern. You don't feel a certain way on a certain day. Golly.
I will say this, though, if any of your viewers are thinking about having kids abroad and stuff. Because actually my eldest daughter, my first daughter, was born in Charlotte.
Did you guys do that on purpose?
No, it was how I was living in Charlotte before I flew over.
Okay.
Before I moved out, my same client that brought me to Charlotte wanted me back. He's like, hey man, I really need your help. I was like, man, I am about to have a kid and all this stuff, and I didn't plan on going back. So I said, you know what? This might be a good opportunity. I could introduce my wife to my entire family. So this is what we did. We flew over. We got a visa. She got a visa, and we had to go through all that process.
Was that process easy?
No, it's not easy. It's not easy. It's a battle. That's actually when we spent also some time in Nairobi as well. She went there for a month. I was there for 3 months.
So y'all were married in Uganda though. So you had your marriage license.
Yeah.
You're an American citizen, and you're like, please let me bring my baby.
Well, if we break down the details, we were not officially with a license married in Uganda. We only
Why?
did because of the visa. It's really tricky, and this is probably like a whole other detailed episode of this because
well, people want to know.
Okay,
So
okay.
break it down.
So
Like why?
So basically, we did the like traditional marriage, which is not registered as a regular like marriage, certificate. Okay. Because the visa that we applied for her to go visit my family abroad was I think it's called K1 visa. It's called the Fiance Visa is another word for it. There's an official letter for it. I think it's K1. So we did the Fiance Visa, and the way to do that is you have to be a fiance. You can't be pre-married. So we did the.
I would think that they would prefer for you to be already married.
You could do that marriage. You could do it. The only issue is it takes 3 years to get approval. And I didn't want the 3 years.
Because they want to make sure that the marriage is like legit.
Exactly.
So the fiance one is just like.
It worked out better because I had already traveled to Uganda. You have to show proof. You have to show proof of flights, pictures that you guys were together, doing things. So you have to show all this proof.
Make out with each other right now.
Yeah, exactly. And it was so detailed. They asked for like, where were you staying? Show a picture of where you were staying. Show a picture of you guys eating at a restaurant. It was like, really?
You're like, damn, we got to go out and eat.
Yeah, exactly. So,
so the fiance visa.
Yep. So we did.
Did you guys do that like purposely almost, or like was it just like?
No, it wasn't purposely. It was because of the situation. It wasn't like something we planned out because everything was more like spontaneous.
But you did not have your child at this time.
No.
Your first child.
No.
Okay, so
No.
y'all
So
did not have your first child.
we got the approval of the fiance visa. Then we flew over to the U.S. In Massachusetts. She met my entire family.
What was her first initial like? Oh my God, I'm in America.
Yeah, actually, you know what's interesting? So we flew. We actually flew into New York. We flew into JFK, and we didn't do the whole like Statue of Liberty thing or anything. But I took her down. We went to Rockefeller Center. Actually, you know what? She liked more of New Jersey. We stood in Secaucus, New Jersey.
Wow.
Specifically, for certain reasons. I actually had one of my biggest breakthroughs in life in Secaucus, New Jersey. So I specifically picked a hotel where I had the most biggest breakthrough of my life in that same area. So it was kind of like planned in my head. And then I showed around like New York a little bit. Then I can't remember if we flew down or drove down. But I think we drove down to Massachusetts, if I recall correctly, yeah. Yeah, so we drove down to Massachusetts and then, introduced her to my family. And maybe the biggest differences that she experienced was the food. Yeah, the food is like
night and day.
different. Yeah, night and day. Yeah. So that was probably like the biggest like shock. Like, whoa, food.
She's like KFC.
Yeah. By the way, I think the KFC is
They have it here.
I think it's better here than it is there, right?
I hate KFC in general. I'm a Popeyes and Churches person.
Yeah, I'm a Popeyes too.
Yeah, Popeyes. I don't even bother. Yeah.
So yeah, for her experience, I'd say the food was probably the biggest part. Like, and of course culturally, like in the U.S., like depending where you come from, by the way, but in the U.S., people tend to like just smile randomly at you as like a way of being kind. Like, that really like shocking to her. She's like, why are these people doing this to me? Because here in Uganda, people just look at you like,
yeah,
I don't know, like, who are you? But in the West, like people tend to do that as like a friendly gesture of like greeting, like, So that was a little different. Other than that, I think the food was probably the biggest one.
Was she like not into it?
We tried, so we went back down to Charlotte. I think 2-3 months later, we had our first child there, which was, let me tell you, for those who are thinking about having kids in abroad or in the United States and everything, it is it's very expensive to have a child in the US.
Yeah.
The bill was like $38,000.
No insurance?
Yeah, we had insurance, but we had to pay like $10K.
Oh, hell no.
Keep
the baby.
But our second child we had here and that was like $400.
Wow.
Yeah, so I paid cash for that one.
But a lot of people just blow it, blow the bag.
Here's your 400.
Here's the tip. Because a lot of people will be like, oh, it's not, like I know a lot of people who get pregnant here, even for the embassy.
Yeah.
If you get pregnant here, they'll send you home to give birth.
Yeah, what really? They send you home specifically?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
They send you home to give birth.
So the first pregnancy was actually a nightmare, honestly. No offense to the hospital or anything, but it was traumatic. Like, there was like 15 people in the room, and it was just really odd. There was like people getting lessons. They were like, a school was in the room, like 8 women. It was really odd and very uncomfortable. So we're like, yeah, well, anyway, we moved back to Uganda anyway. So at that point in time, we had our second and third child here, and it was fantastic. It was so smooth, and it was so much easier and better, and we're so much more calm and at peace than,
Wow. So are all of your kids American citizens?
They're dual citizens. Yeah, they're dual citizens.
Of Uganda,
mostly Portugal.
America.
Like Portugal. Yeah. So.
Wait, so they're Portuguese and American?
Yeah.
They do not have Ugandan citizenship.
No, they have residency, but they don't have.
Even though they were born here.
Yeah. So you can actually do what's called a birth abroad. So that's what I've done. That's the
okay.
So to get into those details, what matters to me, like long term for my kids, is to go to school in Europe. So so that mattered, like getting their Portuguese citizenship mattered most.
You're like, I ain't paying for this shit. You're gonna use these European
I just think
socialism benefits. University of Portugal for you.
I think, I mean, if I had my way, or, they're going to choose that at the end, but there's some great schools, obviously, in the UK. Well, they're not part of Europe anymore, but Switzerland has some great schools, and France. At the end of the day, they're going to choose, but I think just the culture, and I love the history of Europe. I'm really, at heart, I'm European. My blood pumps Portuguese.
Oh my God, you give American.
Do I really?
Yeah.
Is it the accent, though?
It might be that.
I think it's the accent.
I don't know you that well.
Yeah, but it's just the accent.
So maybe it's just the accent.
I love Europe. Like, we've traveled Europe so many times. We took a 6-month tour of just going all over Europe. We like, that's my heart is in Europe. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Has your wife ever been like, can you move us out of freaking Uganda?
No, actually, it was anything to come back. So when we were in the U.S., it was about, I think, maybe 7 months or so. I can't remember the timeline. 7 months after we had our first kid, it was like, okay, first kid, we were all new to that, taking care of it. And I was like, she's like, okay, can we go now? And I'm like, yeah, let's go. So
yeah.
we're back. Yeah.
She's like, she's out.
Yeah.
Deuces.
Yeah, and it worked out because my client at the time, the contract was over. It was a 6-month contract. So everything kind of worked out. And I'm like, yep, we went back. So yeah, it worked out pretty good that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys plan on staying in Uganda forever?
Yeah, I think they'll bury me somewhere in these hills one day.
Oh, that's beautiful. I've told myself I'm not going to be buried in the United States. Yeah, my body will be on my ancestral lands, which is pretty cool.
Where is that?
I took a DNA test and it said Congo in Ghana, but I'm actually waiting on the tribal one. I want the more detailed one, but they're expensive. It's like $600. So I'm saving up for that one. But what was I going to ask? Do your kids go to private school here or public?
Great question, actually, because it just started for the first time. My eldest first went to like a school down the road from where we live here in outside of the city. But when we were in Portugal for a little bit visiting family, and then when we came back, we just put them in boarding school. We put them in the most, I don't know if we call it traditional boarding school, but it's an all-girls boarding school called Gayaza Primary. Yeah, and it's been around for over like 200 years. Going. Yeah. So it's very traditional. But
so they're out of the house.
Yeah. Actually, they just came home for the Easter.
Okay.
So they came home yesterday. But yeah, they've been going to that school. So it's very traditional. Most people think like, oh, international schools. No, we didn't do that.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't do that.
I love that for you. Have your parents or family come to Uganda to see you?
My friends, I had a couple, Doug and his wife came out for, I think it was 2 weeks. But no, my parents haven't returned. My sister hasn't come here yet, or none of my friends. And I think, honestly, I got a friend, I always bust on him for this, because he always says to me, we've been friends for 20 years, he's like, Uganda, he's like, is it safe out there, bro? And then all I do is every time there's a mass shooting in the US, and this is weekly, I just send him weekly news about the mass shooting in the US. Because
is it safe out there, bro?
Yeah, that's what I do to him. I say, bro, is it safe in the US? Because there's a mass shooting every freaking week in the US, like every week.
Yeah, that New York bombing.
The New York, the Arkansas, the one in Texas, the one in Santa Barbara.
It's ghetto.
It's insane. So I like here in regards to safety, like it's really calm here. I think like in any maybe developing country, you just have to look out for like pocket thieves. But if you're a tourist in any country, you have to I mean, I've been in Portugal and I had my wallet stolen.
I was gonna say, I heard that's a big thing in Spain, in Barcelona.
Yeah, it's huge in Europe. Like pocket thieves are like common, so you just gotta always like watch your bags when you're in Europe.
That's everywhere in the world.
Everywhere.
Yeah, watch your freaking bag.
Yeah.
So like, are you a traditional like African husband vibe? Like, you do the dishes, be submissive, do blah blah blah. Like, what are your kind of like roles in each other's lives? Kind of like.
That's a good question. I don't know if I'm a traditional Ugandan husband in that way, but I have a philosophy in life, so maybe this could touch on that. So for example, my philosophy in life is do your high income skill. So I am not good at cooking. That doesn't mean I stay out of the kitchen. Well, I do because I'm not good at it. Does that mean I'm like, oh, wifey, you should be in the kitchen? No, if we need a chef or a maid or when we need someone, boom, we have it. I live my life that way. That's how I built my businesses, is I don't do what I'm not good at. So, and that could be literally any little thing. So sometimes people ask me, hey man, can you help me move out of my apartment to my other place? I'm like, no, not that I don't want to, but listen, I will get someone to help you who's good at it. I'll even pay for it. Outsourcing. Because I believe if I'm spending my time doing something I'm not great at, then I'm missing out on what I should be doing and making money from that.
You just spilled the tea for me.
Sorry.
No, it's good.
Was it hot or cold? Because you said tea.
No, the tea. No, this is good tea.
Good tea? Okay.
Yes, that's good advice.
Yeah.
So don't even waste your energy.
Yeah, so this is even before marriage. I don't know if that, that makes sense.
That's just your life philosophy.
It's life philosophy.
So your wife doesn't really have to like cook or clean, basically?
Well, I mean, she does, but we also have help at home.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I have 3 kids, but I also have like the neighbor's kids and my other neighbor's kids. I mean, it's a house full of kids, which I enjoy. I mean, I really like the energy kids bring to a home.
Yeah.
So we're not against that. And we also have some family that pop in pretty often. So it's a busy place.
Yeah.
But it's everyone works together. That's really important. Everybody working together. It's not like, oh, this is all I do and this is all you do. No. Everybody works together. A home is a family unit, not just, oh, only those people do that. No.
I love that. Yeah. Do you get like girls hitting on you a lot in the street?
I wouldn't. It depends where you go. So here, my early experience when I first came to Uganda, I was going to a lot of hotels for the free Wi-Fi. Because when I first came to Uganda, I was paying about $400 a month for internet service. Then there was no
internet is not cheap out here.
It is not cheap. No.
Yeah, I pay more for my freaking internet here in Kenya than I did at home with where's the Comcast bundles?
Exactly.
Damn, the $30 internet, unlimited.
I was spending a bunch on internet. So the Sheraton Hotel was the first hotel to have free Wi-Fi. Fantastic. So I was basically jumping from hotel to cafe. And I would say the only time I've really had like women approach me to like, hey baby, that kind of thing, has been at hotels because they're
that vibe.
They're working,
looking for a transit lover.
Yeah, they're trying to do it, whatever it may be.
Yeah. What have been some of your best vacations here in Africa?
Well, that's a good question. I literally probably only done like a 50-kilometer radius, I think.
So you haven't really gone outside Uganda? Otherwise, it's Nairobi.
No, just Nairobi and Uganda.
You've been here for 8 years.
I know, and you would think I'd be all excited to go to like whatever Mozambique or something, or Angola. I don't know. I have no desire. Like it hasn't hit me yet to be like, oh, I really want to go there. Hasn't hit me yet. I think because my heart is I'm on Asia now. Like my trip, my next thing is Thailand and Singapore.
Oh my God, I love Thailand.
Yeah, you been?
I've been to Thailand.
Oh, see?
So listen, I started off in Bangkok.
Oh my God, I'm gonna get jealous.
Then I went to Chiang Mai. You gotta go up to Chiang Mai.
Yes, I heard about it.
And then we went to Phuket.
It's amazing, right?
It was a trifecta of 3 different areas. The food was to die for in Chiang Mai.
Exactly.
I actually preferred Chiang Mai over Phuket and Bangkok.
Yeah, that's what I have this friend of mine from the UK. He lived there for 20 years in Chiang Mai, and he was like, it's way better than Bangkok.
It's a magical city.
Really?
Yeah. I've been to Bangkok, Hong Kong, and Bali.
Yeah, Bali, yeah. See,
Bali was nice. But Bali is so Instagram fucked up now.
Is it really?
Everything's just like a photo op. to me. I don't know. So it's kind of hard. I feel like they're losing a lot of their culture because they're integrating like Instagram and tourism into a lot of these major cultural spaces. So everything's like really Instagrammy. So imagine you go to like that mosque that's here and it's like an Instagram booth or like an Instagram, and like, I don't know, you're just like, God damn, like it makes it feel less cultural.
Yeah, that I could understand that. I've watched a lot of videos on YouTube about Bali because I want to get over there for like 6 months. I want to live there for a while.
It's beautiful, regardless. Yeah. So you're more on your Asia kick. You don't really have a desire to travel around here.
Not yet. Like I think anything, maybe we'll go to the pyramids when my kids are a little older. But what I did just a few years ago, we spent because we've been to Portugal so many times, but we just did we did 2 trips. We did 6 months. We started in Milan. And we just took buses and trains from Milan to Switzerland. We did that for 6 months. We went through all these different countries: Switzerland, Amsterdam, Holland, all that stuff. We went all over: France, Spain, Belgium. And then we did also on the way back just recently in 2020 or something like that. So I love Europe. It's tough for me. Sometimes I feel like I always need to get back there pretty quickly. But Asia is next in the lineup. So
what has made you just not want to settle in Portugal?
The culture. Yeah, there's no vibe. It's a very older culture. It's an old vibe. Don't get me wrong, I'm Portuguese and I love it, but I love the food, but I'm not into the culture. I'm not into the way they do things and just, I guess I could say I'm blessed because I got a mix of Portuguese blood and culture, but I have the entrepreneurism, is that a word? Entrepreneur side of me that is built from the US. And you don't get that.
That U.S. hustle.
Yeah, you don't get that in Portugal.
Not the slow-mo.
Right, yeah, definitely.
Have you guys ever faced like any type of like racism as an interracial couple with mixed kids?
No, not at all. And we don't go looking for it, or we don't listen. Like we're not like listening for it.
Pay attention.
Yeah. If people have an eye, actually, we just get compliments. Funny thing is,
oh my God, you guys are so beautiful.
Yeah. I've never had anyone make like a weird comment or anything like that. Nothing, not at all. The only time was a funny situation. We went to Washington D.C. To show my wife, showed the Washington and all that stuff. And there was a woman jogging. We were next to outside the White House. There was a woman jogging, and she literally like stopped and back. And she's like, "Are you Lupita?"
I'm done.
I was like,
she should have been like, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
It's me.
So I was quiet. I started laughing, and I let it play out for a few seconds. And she's like, "Oh my God, I love 12 Years a Slave."
Oh,
I said,
stop.
"Is that your only reference?"
Wow.
That's So in my mind,
it's just so annoying.
Yeah, but I was
that's
like,
beautiful though. That's good.
Yeah, it was like that. So
you guys are just minding your business out here.
That's all we do. Just mind your business, and people opinions are so common.
Give me your top 3 favorite things to do in Kampala.
Whoa, top 3 favorite things. I'm a movie guy. So I do like the cinema, so that could be anywhere. I'll do that any place.
Okay.
But I'll tell you what, the nightlife here is buzzing. And listen, I don't drink. I don't drink. I don't smoke. But the nightlife here is amazing.
That's good. You don't drink. Why?
I stopped years ago.
Okay.
My first, my first engagement and all that. That drove me to drink heavily. And I stopped that. So.
Nairobi has a heavy drink culture.
Definitely.
Fuck.
Yeah, definitely.
Nairobi's got me in a chokehold tonight.
Yeah.
For real. I wake up and I'm like, oh,
wow.
fuck.
It's like 5 a.m., 6 a.m.
No, for real.
Yeah, it's insane.
I be clubbing.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, I'm like, is that the sun?
Yeah, it's the sun coming up. Yeah. They know how to party for sure.
I love that. So listening to music, going to the cinema.
Yeah, hanging out with friends. I think that's like just the vibe, nightlife. There's a bunch of restaurants and cafes here. I think that's really cool.
Do you guys do date night often?
No.
You should.
Take her. Is that like? I would say probably maybe once or twice a month, maybe. But yeah, but why is that? It was just an introduction of a question.
I just like to think. I think about what I would want in a marriage. Or,
oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, and what I think the majority of our time when we're together has been when we're traveling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we spend a lot of time. Obviously, when we're together, we're traveling a lot. So that plays.
She is only a Ugandan citizen.
Correct, yeah. Working on a Portuguese citizenship, but yes, Uganda
Okay.
only, yeah.
If you had to surrender one of your passports, I'm guessing it would be your American. You got to surrender one. Which one is it, sir?
I can't even answer that. That's a very tough question. That's like asking me to change my religion.
Think about it.
That's very tough because I feel like one country has given me the capital and the opportunity to build a life and a business, which has helped me support my family. And then another one has given me the lifestyle that I want. I feel like the US has not given me the opportunity to enjoy my lifestyle. It gives me to work for the lifestyle, but I don't get to enjoy it like I do in Europe, like I do here in Uganda.
Is that what you tell people? I'm sure you have friends like, bro, I want to go to the US so bad.
I tell them you're wasting your time.
Literally.
That's what I tell people. I'm like, why the US? And you're like, you're better. Don't get me wrong, there's parts of the US that are really beautiful in the mountains and all that. But I think with the hype comes from when I hear people say, oh, I want to go to New York. I want to go to Miami. I'm like, why?
Go to Diani. Go to Cape Town.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally. And you're better off.
Yeah, like, I think there's just so much. Maybe from 50 years ago, there was
Even
this.
still today, though, there's an over glamorization.
There's over glamour because, like, New York,
Yeah.
honestly, is probably one of the most dirtiest cities I've ever been in my life.
I hate New York.
It's horrible.
The
It's,
subway, I had to get off. I had to get on and get off.
yeah, it's not.
The moment I see a
good.
rat, I'm not
Yeah,
gonna fight.
Rats like are this big.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I'm not gonna fight
Yeah.
my anxiety with the rat on the subway.
not
It's too much. Like, no, it's
No.
not. I love this life for you here.
Thanks. Yeah.
You seem really well acclimated. You seem to have a positive attitude.
Yeah.
You don't. You said
It's-
you don't really engage with other expats.
I don't. No.
Yeah.
I don't have any American, Canadian, UK friends here at all.
Yeah.
Everyone is Ugandan and Kenyan. Yeah.
Wow.
And like I said, the Kenyans I hang out with here are actually they're not so aggressive.
Wow.
They're not. Yeah. Because I've been to Kenya and I know how aggressive they can be. So.
A majority. No, I wouldn't say. It's about 50-50. Nah, it's about 75-25. Most of my friends in Nairobi are expats.
Okay. Yeah. Do you
Black,
like it?
Black
Do
Americans
you-
specifically.
A lot of Black Americans there.
Yeah, there's a lot of Black Americans. Is there a big Black American community here you would know?
I honestly only see like 2 YouTubers online.
Rachel, that Rachel girl.
No, it's a guy actually. It's some guy. I don't remember his name. I saw his videos like 2 or 3 years ago. I haven't seen Rachel. I don't know who that is.
She's like a popular.
I'll have to look her up.
Well, you can watch her on my channel because I'm interviewing her tomorrow.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. So this has been really fun.
Yeah.
I love your vibe.
Thanks.
You
Yeah,
come
you
out
have
here. You started early. You're not new to this. You're true to
Yeah,
this.
no,
You've
yeah,
been
yeah,
a
for
lover of Africa and a
For sure.
contributor for the cause. And I think that's awesome. It seems like Uganda's your home.
Yeah, it is definitely in my heart for sure.
Yeah?
For sure. Yeah.
What was your experience? One more question. When you were in Nairobi, were you like, this is somewhere where I could kind of stay?
Well, unfortunately, like I felt like when I got to Nairobi, the guy I was hanging out with, the guy that gave me a place to stay, I was helping him build his shea butter business. He kind of like spooked me out, and then I realized, okay, he was right. Nairobi is not safe compared to where we were. I guess we're in the Westland side. So
I live in Westlands.
really,
That's like the nice. Were you in the Eastlands?
or maybe Eastlands
This
or
was
Westlands.
back then too.
This was like it was like
Yeah,
years
so maybe
ago.
it's changed because right now Westlands is like super safe, super nice.
Really? So yeah, but he kind of like freaked me out. He's like, okay, you have to be back home before 6 o'clock. Remember the lights go down. I'm like, why? He's like, no, there's thieves everywhere, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. So I was just like, and I've heard stories, like some of my Kenyan buddies have said, yeah, thieves will rob you broad daylight, they'll ask for your wallet, whatever it is. So I don't know. I mean, I never felt scared or nervous to be in Nairobi. I like the vibe. I like the drive that's in Nairobi.
The hustle.
The hustle is so great.
Yeah,
It really is.
Nairobi's, they are movers and shakers.
Yeah, exactly.
They're walking fast.
Yes.
There's no like,
Yeah. And here it's it's a 180. Like everybody is like just calm and yeah, just that's it. Yeah. So it's like I have to say this is my buddies have rated this better than I do, but they say like if you want speed, you go to Kenya. Then after that, it's a little slower as Uganda. Then below that is Tanzania, because Tanzania is a socialistic country. and they're just like really passive. They don't want to do nothing. They're
Yeah.
just there. So I don't know. Those are just what I'm hearing. So
Okay.
that makes
My
sense.
boyfriend is Tanzania.
Has he said the same thing or no?
Yeah, I can see it in him, honestly.
Really?
He's a slow walker,
They
slow
just say
talker.
they're more calm. Yeah, just
Yeah,
more.
a bomb could go off and it's like, oh.
My buddy,
Literally, I'm like, oh my God.
My buddy describes it like this, like, so he's in the cattle business, so he has cousins that are Tanzanian. He's like, so why don't you go get more cattle? And the guy's like, why? So you can make more money. It's like, for what? That's how he described it to me. So that's all I know. I mean,
But I have money now.
yeah, but I have money now. It's okay, you know. So.
Oh God. Do your daughters speak Portuguese?
They do. They actually went to a Portuguese school for about, I think, almost a year, actually.
I love that.
Yeah, so they know Portuguese, Uganda, and English.
They're living the life. Cheers to them. Thank you for pouring into Black women.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Black girls rock, you know.
Black girls only.
Yes. If you're white, don't try it. I'm just kidding. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. But no, that's really awesome. So it's been really nice meeting you.
Yeah, nice meeting you too.
Do you have any business, your wife, any businesses, anything that they can support you with?
Oh, cool. Yeah. Actually, if they were to, I probably could put some links or whatever. But
Yeah, you'll send me the links, and I'll always put them in the link below. But
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about what they can do.
So my consulting business is I help people who want to get started in real estate investing. They can literally live anywhere. I have clients in the U.S. and abroad. And if they want to invest in the United States, that's pretty primarily where I do most of my investments, there in Portugal. But if you want to live in the US or live abroad, I show you how to get started buying real estate property, either flipping it or renting it out. I've been doing that for over 10 years. So anybody who's kind of interested in that kind of stuff, getting started, real estate coaching is primarily what it's called. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm doing that.
Do you own a lot of properties here in Uganda?
I own land mostly here.
Okay.
Yeah, land, yeah.
What are you going to do with it?
In the future, probably build on some of it, but also sell it. Yeah, just lend it right.
Hold it and sell it.
Hold it and sell it. Yeah. Here in Portugal, I have a lot of short-term rentals and long-term rentals. And in the US, I have a whole bunch of stuff going on. Yeah. So,
You're a hustler, dude.
yeah. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, you
Yeah,
guys.
thanks, Britt.
Like and subscribe. Do you do YouTube?
I do. Yeah. I do.
Yeah, so we'll put your YouTube channel in there. Family YouTube?
No, my kids are not online. Sorry.
Oh, you don't like
it's
that
just-
vibe?
No, it's just me. Little old me.
Boo! I'm just kidding. No.
I've seen YouTube channels where they have their whole family
Yeah.
life and all that, but we are super private. So
It
it's-
becomes dangerous nowadays.
Yeah, I've heard and
Yeah,
seen
horror stories. It can go
Yeah.
really bad and it's not
Yeah.
even worth the money. So
Yeah.
yeah. Well, you guys,
thanks for having me.
like I said, like and subscribe. I will see you guys later because I have